Intelligent agents are a tool within Brightspace that allow you to set up automatic email notifications to students if they have not met criteria you have set up. Use cases would be if a student has not accessed your course in the last 7 days, or if a student has not submitted a paper that is due over the weekend. To find this tool, in the default navbar, we click on the Tools dropdown, and then at the bottom of that dropdown is Intelligent Agents. It will bring you to this page. By default, it will be empty in a new course. But to create a new agent, we click on this blue button in the top left, New Agent, where it will allow us to set up a new agent. Here, we can put in a name. For this example, I'm going to have it as the learner has not entered the course in 7 days. We can assign it to a category. This is mainly for your own organization, but is not necessary. What is important to pay attention to, though, is the status. Leaving this unchecked will leave this inactive, but if checking it, it will make sure it is active. There are 3 drop-downs here in creating a new agent. This first one is scheduling. By selecting one of these under frequency, for this case, we want it to run weekly, and it will give us more options here. So we want it to run every 1 week, and let's say on Saturday at noon, so every Saturday at noon, this will run. We can add a start date and an end date. I would recommend putting them as the beginning and the end of the semester, so that way students are not receiving emails that they haven't accessed the course after the course is already ended. Criteria, the second drop down here, is where we can set up what criteria we want students to meet in order to get this notification. We can choose in this first option here, all users visible. This will include any other instructors or teaching assistants you have in class, or you can target users with a specific role. In this case, we just want learners. For your use case, you might want to target more than one group, which you can by just clicking multiple here. Ours, we just want learner. Here is where we can set up the initial criteria. So login activity is if they have logged in to Brightspace in general, not necessarily your class, or course activity. In our case, we want this one, that users have not accessed the course in the last 7 days. So again, login activity is Brightspace in general. Course activity is activity logging in to your specific course. You can add additional conditions by clicking Create here, which will open up this drop-down. So say if we're looking at the other example I mentioned, no submission to an assignment, when we select the assignment and create, this will add an additional condition where students have to meet both of these. Both the student has not accessed the course in the last 7 days, and they have not submitted the paper. In our case, we just want this first option, so we can click this X here to get rid of any release conditions we have set in place. Our last option here is the actions. So take action only the first time the agent criteria is satisfied for a user, or take action every time. In this use case, we would like the second option, so that if students have not logged in 2 weeks in a row, they will get an email notification every Saturday at noon. And then we want to make sure that send an email when the criteria is satisfied. By clicking this here, what special email addresses can I use? we can see replace strings that it recommends. Replace strings are variables that Brightspace can recognize and fill in with relevant data. In this case, initiating user, if we copy this and paste it into here, this will retrieve the email of the user that has met the criteria and populate it within this to. We would also recommend in the BCC adding your email, so that way you also get notifications keeping you up to date to which students have not entered your course. Subject, this is the subject line of the email. And here is the body of the email. We click on HIS, we can see other replace strings that we can use in the body. So initiating user first name is one I would recommend. So hello, you have not accessed the course since last login date. It's another replace string we can use. Please reach out to me if you need any assistance. So what we have set up so far is every Saturday at noon, any learner who has not accessed the course in the last 7 days will get an email to them, the initiating user who met the criteria, as well as carbon copying my department email here, and it will send out this message. Hello, this will be the user's first name. You have not accessed the course since this login date. Please reach out. You can also add any attachments. In this case, I don't see any necessity to, and we can save and close. Before we double check that the agent status is enabled. So here we can see our new agent. On the right is the next time it will run, will be this upcoming Saturday, and as well as the last run date and last results of the run, how many users met the criteria.